you doing? So glad to have you. This is the Is There Anybody podcast. I'm Austin.
And I'm Kailla.
Who's on Candy Crush and not paying attention that we're actually trying to do an actual serious thing
So sorry.
for the Lord God.
Candy Crush. If you play it, I'm beating you.
Please. Home skates is way better. Anyway, moving on. It's like multiple games in one.
See, no, you don't want to do multiple games in one. Candy Crush, and then Candy Crush
run out
has
of lives. There's a lot of things going on.
no. Candy Crush is just
Anyway, I want to hear
10,579.
That's called addiction, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why I should be that high at a level. Well, hello, friends. Since you're here, make sure you like, you share, subscribe, you comment, you like, you share, you subscribe, you comment. We're glad you're here. And we want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to kind of tap in with us. So, again, I want to encourage you one more time to like, share, comment, subscribe, and comment. I said that twice. All right. So, today we are going back to the subject of the Olympics. And I want to point out before we go on one more thing. Like, who made Snoop Dogg the face of the Olympics?
That man is everywhere.
He's
Dancing.
He's living his best life.
Commentating. Just and Flavor Flav is out there making clocks.
I didn't see that. I'm glad I didn't.
He made, because the thing with Jordan Childs, he made her a bronze clock.
Did she ask for this?
No, but he made it for her, and it cost a lot of money.
Well, I mean, that's great, but like, I don't think I want a bronze clock. Just give me my medal and my money.
Well,
Flav.
He was just trying to help.
Flav could have took that money.
And repurposed it.
He could have just used it for the good. Huh?
He was trying to stand with his people.
Okay. Go ahead, Flav. Do your big one,
She
Doc.
don't want the clock, I'll take it. It's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna pawn that sucker.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
I'm going to tie you know what? Never mind.
Too far.
Don't do that, people.
Too far.
Don't you do that.
Too far. Don't
not
follow.
right.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about the Olympics, and the last time we talked about ego and the fine line between ego and confidence. Today we're gonna focus more towards gymnastics today, huh? Let's first off just say gymnastics. Goodness gracious.
Hey.
Them folks.
Y'all be doing it.
They
Okay.
be going in hard.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. The floor.
Yeah.
The beam. Yeah.
How you stay on the beam, not you, but those persons have to stay on the beam, and then they do the
And then the spin little thing with the leg.
and then you over the.
And then one time Simone caught herself with her toes.
And that's crazy to me. You got to have a strong pinky toe. You got to have a strong pinky toe.
She gripped it.
Yes.
It's arthritis almost.
Arthritis. Yes. So. Anyway, that's cool. Anyway, so there's one particular gymnast called Simone Biles. We all know her. We love her. Appreciate her.
Woo!
And Simone has been killing it in the game. Okay. For some years, of course. But specifically, we saw that quite evident at this recent Olympics. Well, after the Olympics, or maybe during the Olympics, towards the end time of the Olympics, we saw that Simone Biles' biological mother, had basically told a particular news channel, hey, I'm ready to reconcile with my daughter. Now, as a quick backstory for us, we know that Simone's mother had relinquished care of her children because of some addictions, right? And she had quoted and named that because of her addiction, she didn't feel right taking care of the child, didn't feel like she had the capacity nor the mental capacity to take care of children because of the addictions, right? And so Simone grew up with other persons that she claimed as family. Great, wonderful, right? But now it seems like later in her life, her mother comes back around and kind of announces to the news that she's ready to come back into her life. Now, what's been real fishy, though, is like...
Why are you telling the news?
Why are you telling the news? And why now? Like, are you...
You got her number, don't you? Okay. Because why are you telling the news?
Something seems fishy.
Yes.
That we're not really sure all that kind of going on there. And while we're not here to kind of pass judgment or say she should or should not or whatever, I think this kind of story does kind of prompt a conversation we need to have about reconciling with people and when to reconcile with folks.
In the proper way.
How we reconcile with folks, right? The timing in which we reconcile with folks, no matter the infraction that caused the separation, right? And so today I want to lift up a couple things, and then maybe we can talk out some other things as well. And we would love your kind of thought on this. So in the chat, let's kind of think about, like, when is it okay to reconcile, right, with someone? Or better yet, when is it not okay to reconcile? When is it like, you know what, cut it, right? We want to hear from you. So go ahead in that chat. We'll wait.
Right now.
We'll wait. You're not writing.
We don't see it.
Okay. Oh, I see one. There it goes. What does it say? From Evangelist 776 from Chicago, Illinois. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. God bless you, Evangelist. You said you tell us. Okay, I will. All right, cool. So today, let's chat about it. So before we talk about, like, when it's okay to reconcile, I think it's important to have a conversation around relationships in itself. And we're generic relationships. We're not talking about romantic. That's another podcast for another day. Not done with that. But relationships, friendships, family relationships, those kind of things, work relationships are all important that are part of our everyday life. So here's the thing we need to know. Number one is that relationships are not always meant to last.
Ooh.
And
that was a hard one.
I think it's important to note that every relationship in our life is not meant to last us the entirety of our life.
Right.
I know we want that one friend that'll last us from kindergarten till we get to the grave. Right? In some cases, that's great. You know, it happens, and that's wonderful. But for the majority of us, that's not what happens.
Some people are meant for a season.
Yeah.
And you need to be okay with that.
Yeah. And it's a tragedy when we try to bring people who have outgrown their season into the next season of our life.
Just causes complications.
Causes complications. And it'll stifle your growth, my growth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
other people's
growth. And other people's growth. Yes.
That you're supposed to be helping, but you can't because you got...
Yes. And so instead of bringing along a friend, we're now bringing along baggage and dead weight. And it just...
holding you down.
Come on with me now.
Holding you down.
You still there? Right? That can be very harmful. Because what they have done, or the relationship you have enjoyed, was great for a moment. Right, for the season of your life, and it was impactful, and that's great, and it's not something you kind of downplay, right? But it is something sometimes we may have to move on from.
Yes.
And it's having those big boy, big girl conversations to be like, hey, right? This isn't working anymore, or I don't do these things, and if we're going to continue to engage in these things, then I need to remove myself from this relationship.
My.
Right? Or it's a piece of, I've grown up to a certain place. And it may seem as though you have not grown up.
You're still there.
Okay. Right?
And it's time for me to leave you.
And it's time for me to move on, because where I'm headed, where I'm going, I cannot continue to bring those childish attitudes, childish ways, childish beefs, whatever, on with me.
And you just grow apart. You're just in two different directions. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that direction is bad or your direction is bad. Sometimes it just, the relationship is meant to end.
Yeah.
And you have to come to terms with that. It's okay to feel bad and, you know, want to feel your feelings and feel sad about it. But at the end of the day, you got to move on. So move on.
So move on. And it's also this piece that relationships change also. So not only are we meant sometimes to move away from some folks, but sometimes we're meant to still be in a relationship with folks, but the relationship changes.
So you're adapting.
Right? So you're adapting, you're pivoting, right? And or sometimes we're not in as much contact as we used to be. Right? And that can be a tough one, especially if you're used to
talking to that person all day, every day,
yeah, I mean,
constantly.
Like, eventually, I gotta work. You know
and
what I'm saying?
And then you go from that to talking to them once a month.
Yeah, Because things happen.
Yes.
Life happens,
Yes.
right? You get attached to other people. You get a spouse, maybe get kids, right? All these things happen. Parents decline to help you. All these things happen, right? And so I think it's okay for us to adjust our relationships as long as we have good communication, right? It's not this piece of ghosting people. It's this piece of saying what needs to happen,
Yes.
right? Of acknowledging our boundaries and our level of communication that needs to be had. Okay. All right. So now that that's kind of like our foundation for us today, let's quickly talk about like when it's time to let go of the relationship.
Let go.
Let God. Okay, number uno. When that particular relationship is preventing you from moving forward in life, it may be a good indicator that it is time to let go. Just snip the string.
Oh my God, where did person go? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When persons are holding you back from where you believe God is trying to take you, right, or where God is growing you to be, then we have to make a choice. It is, do I choose my history and my past relationship over the destiny that God wants to secure?
And with that, you don't know if God is working on them to bring them back into your life.
Right?
So I don't want to give you false hope, because maybe that's not the case. Maybe God is saying leave them at the wayside. But your faith in Christ should help you get over that hump. Like, okay, maybe if this is not supposed to be my friend now, maybe God has people waiting for me on the other side. Maybe he'll bring that person right back around and we can connect again. But at the end of the day, if it's not serving you any longer, why hold on to that?
And we don't want to move backwards. And we really don't. Or we don't want to get stuck. Man, that's one of the things for me that I want to make sure my life never gets to. And there's moments, but I never want to be stuck in life where it seems like I'm in a rut and I can't get out. I can't do that. Okay. There's moments for rest, there's moments for this and that, moments for respite, but to just kind of get stuck circling the same things over and over and over again is one of the fears that I have for my future, that I never want to get to that point, right? And I never want to allow other people to have power to bring me to that point, right? And to keep me there, okay? One of the stories we remember, especially out of the biblical text, is when the brother man had an issue that he needed healing, and his friends, when they heard Jesus was in town, they went to a particular house where Jesus was. They cut a hole in the roof and they lowered this man down so he's able to get the help that he needs to move forward. Those are the type of friends that we want, who are looking out for our best interest and want to see us move forward. But there are friends who know that there's some things not right, knows that there's some things we're struggling with, but because it feeds them,
they're gonna keep you in that same
keep you right
space.
in that thing, right?
And that is not healthy. And you have to discern those folks, and not cut them off completely, but move differently.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think many a times we want to give people the benefit of the doubt because these are our friends. We've been through some stuff together. But sometimes you have to take a step back and look, observe. Like, is this person for me, or is this person for me because they want something from me, or they just don't want me to surpass them? And many a times we are like, oh, well, this is my friend. We went through this together. We went through that together. I can call them up and then but are they for you? Are they for you? For real, for real.
For real, for real.
Because if that's a friend, they will want you to surpass them. They will want you to do better for yourself.
Absolutely.
They would push you towards it, not try and hold you and keep you back.
Yeah. I like what you just said about sometimes it's not appropriate to cut them off because in some of our cases we can't. Right? some relationship, we have to stay in contact with this particular person. But I do like what you said about move differently, right? It is learning those triggers, learning, how they react, learning how I respond to that person so that I don't end back up in this same kind of circumstance and situation. And I think it's important for us to kind of get that we have to choose to move forward. We really do. We have to make the choice almost every single day to say that I want to go on. Yes. I want to move forward.
Yes.
Okay. All right. The second thing we know that we may want to reevaluate the relationship is if that particular relationship is affecting other healthy relationships in your life. So what we mean by this is like, if like your relationship with your friend is causing you to drift away from healthy relationships you have with your family or your support system, that's not a good relationship to hold on to.
It's very toxic.
It is,
and it's very toxic. Possessive.
Manipulative.
Manipulatives. They try to manipulate you.
Right?
You gotta run fast as you can.
Is. No one should make it their life's goal to like possess you, to have you.
You can't be friends with nobody else.
You can't be friends with nobody else.
Not right.
Right? That's not healthy. Man.
Not at all.
I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but this got to hit home a little bit.
Yeah, it's hitting home for me too, and I don't like it.
But regardless, we want to continue to hold other healthy relationships, and you should be able to have the freedom and not feel guilty.
Whew.
That's the part. Not feel guilty to have other healthy relationships in your life that is outside of this particular relationship.
Oh.
Right?
All right, we're getting too close.
So if Kailla and I are friends, right, I should be able to still have relationships with other friends in my life that maybe does not involve Kailla, right?
And that's
still be okay. Yes.
And, okay. Oh, well, since we talk about it, let's talk about it. If I am friends with you, and I'm friends with another person, and you friends with that other person, we should be able to come together and be friends as a whole.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes you just need to, if that's not the case, you need to express that. I want to keep this relationship separate, and express it. Don't keep it to yourself, because now it looks weird.
Yeah,
and we don't like weird people. I just not that kind of weird.
Don't call the people weird, Kailla.
If you weird, it's some good weird, and then there's some weird. You just be like, okay, I don't want to mess with you anymore. You're weird. Gracious. But I think everybody, if I'm friends with you and you friends with them and I'm friends with them, we should all be friends collectively, and we should also have our own relationships separately, and that should be okay. And if it's okay, we shouldn't be talking about that friend, and it's fine. We're not gonna go there. And then I also think if this is a great relationship, you should be able to give 100% truth. Now, a lot of people that know me know I come off very mean. Sometimes it's meant to be mean because you need to hear it that way, and then sometimes I just can't help myself. And I know that about myself, and I'm trying to do better. But I believe, for me, I want 100% truth from that person. I can take the mean kind of way, because that's sometimes the only way I can hear it to penetrate me and be like, oh, that was mean, but that's the truth. Other people can't take it like that. Maybe you need to say it a different way so it's not as mean, but it's still the truth. And friends who can give you the truth and not be like, oh, well, you were wrong. And if somebody can tell you were wrong, keep that person. My oldest friendship, me and my friend Dejanique, she said she prides our friendship on the basis that I can tell her she's wrong. I can look at her side of the story and that other person's side of the story and be like, hey, Deja, that was wrong.
That's good.
you were wrong.
That's good.
And she said, nobody could tell me that before because they were like, oh, well, we're friends, so you're right. No, you're wrong. And I will tell you you're wrong.
Yeah.
But then I'll also tell you, like, hey, this is how you fix this. I'm not going to tell you wrong and leave you dirt.
Yeah.
But tell them the truth. You can tell them when they were right. You can tell them when, you were right in some instances, you were wrong in some instances. You have to be able to give truth in a friendship. Mm-hmm. If I can't be truthful with you, what are we friends for?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yep.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to keep feeding you cookie cutter stuff. I can't do that. So if that's the kind of friendship you're looking for, then, find somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, this next one is another one, and this next one is another one. This next one will raise that maybe it's time for us to relook at the relationship if there is a destructive pattern. So if we see a pattern going on, one time, okay, they keep lying, okay, they keep hurting you, and then they say it's unintentional, things keep happening over and over again, that's probably a good sign that we may need to reevaluate the relationship because they're showing you who they are.
Yes.
And we should believe them.
Yes.
And I know sometimes we want to fix people, we want to help people,
Mama.
We want to nurse people back to where or to a place of which they should be, right? But in essence, you and I are not meant to be doormats. And so this constant destructive pattern is not healthy for us to continue to engage in. Mm-hmm. And this becomes difficult because there are some people in our lives who are family. And it's like, but you keep hurting us, right?
And why do we keep sitting here and letting you do that?
And over and just because you're just because your mom, just because your dad, just because your uncle, just because your auntie, just because your cousin Ray Ray and them, just because you raised me and you changed my diapers, does not necessarily mean that I have to keep subjecting myself to destructive patterns, right? And I think that's important for us to name and important for us to look at because if not, we'll continue to be walked all over.
Yes.
Right? And then we'll be mad, and then we take it on the wrong people, and then it's a whole thing. And so destructive patterns, and again, we're saying patterns. Now, people will make mistakes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
People will fail you, absolutely.
Yes.
You'll be disappointed, absolutely.
Because they're not Jesus.
They're not Jesus. They're not perfect, right? We're not perfect.
Exactly.
We're not always going to hold up to our end of the bargain all the time. But we keep seeing the same patterns, though, over and over again. And I can't tell you what that looks like for you. I can't tell you after 3 times, let them go, right? But whatever, if you see patterns, right, it is probably a good indicator that it's good for you to reevaluate that relationship and what it looks like, and maybe not invite that person back into your personal life or into your personal space. Yeah.
I want to give an example because I've been through that, and it was a college friendship, and we met freshman year, and we were thick as thieves. Thick as thieves. And I noticed that when... Hopefully they don't watch this podcast.
Take your time. No names, generality.
Yes. I noticed when other certain people of different genders would come around, their personality would change. And we would go out, hang out, and but I noticed that when the other gender would come around, oh, you want to talk down on me now because this person like me don't like you. It's fine. And so she would be like, oh, I'm just that person would be like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. I just I really like this person and I want them to like me, but they said they like you. And I would say, oh, that's fine. I don't, see that person that way. So if you want to pursue something with that person, that's fine. Well, it got bad. And things started happening and became really weird. The relationship became strained. And I had to to take myself out of it in order to see what was actually happening, because I was just giving that person the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, maybe they didn't say this. They, you know, people are telling me things that this person is saying. I said, maybe they didn't say it. Maybe they're not going around spreading, you know, lies and rumors. But then here was what really sent me over. It was after my sister died, and this person was saying something about my family and my sister. That's a big no-no for me.
That's how you get shot. Beat up.
I was like, oh, this is what we're doing now. And so I went to that person, and they said, oh, no, I didn't say that. And so I said, okay, if you didn't say that, I'm going to believe you, because you told me you didn't, and you're my friend, so I'm going to believe you. Well, then I got proof that this person was saying that, and I'm not going to say what I did, but because I could go to jail.
Been delivered.
But I will say that I had a long conversation with this person, and I told them we can no longer be friends because it was a pattern happening. I saw the pattern, but I chose to ignore it because I was like, this is my friend.
Yeah.
And I want us to remain friends.
Yeah.
But then that pattern, you reached hit a point. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, either I fight you or we no longer friends. Yeah. So let's not be friends because I don't want to be a spell. Yeah. So, so we stopped being friends, and then a couple of years later, actually last year, this person reached out to me and, apologized and was like, I hope we could, become friends and again. And I had to choose not to.
Yeah.
I said no. And it was hard. It was so hard because the good times were like, the memories of the good times were in my mind. And I was like, I don't want to regret saying no to this friendship again if we can reconcile. But I knew in my heart, and God told me, like, no, this person is not meant to be in your life.
Yeah.
So I had to shut it down.
And that's hard moments to accept, but they are necessary. And as we're kind of bringing this piece to a close, I think your example is so important of how to have those courageous conversations. And it's, again, for our peace, for our sanity, for our ability to move forward, that we have to have these conversations. To understand the markers, to understand kind of the signs, and to say, you know what, this may not be the relationship, because relationships fail, relationships have seasons, and trust God that He will bring other people in your life to help support and to make sure that you're all right.
And He did, because I have friends now.
Oh, look at their friends. How many of us have them? Well, friends, today, you're our friends. Today, want to make sure that you continue to like, share, subscribe, and comment. We want to continue this conversation. We invite you to do so in the chat. We thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time for Is There Anybody Podcast.
Bye.
The battery was dying. That's why I had to cut.